inflation has increased and wages, while not being totally stagnant through the years of the rampant inflation that we've seen, while not being totally stagnant, wages have not kept pace with the rate of inflation. And so, you used to have, as I've said before, you used to have a situation in which a man could have a factory job and get paid well enough in an absolute sense. Maybe the actual number of dollars he gets paid was less than what someone working a factory job today would get paid. But in an absolute sense, his paycheck went further because, again, a man could work, a single job like that, and not a swanky job, and not a, incredibly high earning job, but still make enough to be able to have a house and raise a family and provide for a family. Today, it's much harder to find those kinds of jobs that provide, just because of the rate of inflation being so rampant on the one hand, and wages having comparatively stagnated when taken in concert, when seen in concert with the rate of inflation. So the result is that the average guy, the average dude, was probably better off, was almost certainly better off, lived a better life 30, 40, 50 years ago than he does today. And that's really sobering when you really think about it. And it's so it's hidden, I think. It's easy to ignore, or it's easy to be distracted from this fact, because we've got stuff today. You can be dirt poor today and still have stuff. You can still watch porn all day for free on the internet. Lucky you. I mean, somebody 50 years ago couldn't do that. Somebody 50 years ago had to pay for his porn, had to go out and find it, and had to pay for it and risk being seen, and the ramifications of being seen while consuming his porn. But lucky you can just go into your bedroom and lock the door and watch it all day. Yeah, I mean, this took a sort of sordid twist there. This pseudo monologue here, but I'm emphasizing that to make a point. I think in some ways, those who don't have it well, the poor, the not well off, the unemployed, or the underemployed, have it better today in certain ways, certain more superficial ways. It's definitely easier, if you're poor, not to starve today in a first world economy anyway, than it was like in 1912. If you were poor in 1912, you might not know where your next meal is coming from. Today, you probably aren't worried about starving. You may not be able to feast in truly choice, or to consume the best dining options, and but you're not going to have to worry about starving. And and other you know, you've I mean, I talked about porn, but there's like, you know, those step above porn like Netflix and streaming services, and like it's easier to keep yourself entertained, if you call that entertainment. Are you not entertained? So there are things that hide it, that like they manage to hide the fact that we're worse off than we were, because there's more stuff now, and because technology in certain ways, specifically regarding the internet, has improved. Technology in other ways has not improved. I mean, I remember I read somewhere about how airplanes are essentially the same that they were 50 years ago. There's nothing new. They're not better. They're not. In fact, they were probably more. Flying on a plane was probably a more luxurious, enjoyable experience 50 years ago than it is today. But you know, they haven't made any advances in plane technology, any significant ones that impact you know, passenger planes anyway. You know, you want to get on a flight to Los Angeles from Atlanta, it's the same. It takes the same amount of time that it took 50 years ago to complete that flight. You'd think they would have streamlined it so that now it would be like, oh well, or that they would, you could just transport there, like in Star Trek, get your atoms scrambled and then re-scrambled, reassembled somewhere else. But there's no new technologies like those, none that have been released to the public anyway. Who knows what the higher ups, what they're doing at DARPA or whatever. Who knows what kind of technology those kind of people have access to. But it hasn't been released to us plebes. We don't have that. So the result is, I think, the average man lives a drearier life than he did 50 years ago. But that dreariness is easier to distract from, because you can spice it up with free porn and I don't know, other goodies, you know, and you can, in your favorite kind of potato chips, and you know, like you know, the things that you can afford to buy on assisted living. You know, you're not you're not gonna die of hunger, but you're maybe you're gonna die of you know, hardened arteries, or you know, because of the swill that you're eating. Notice I said swill. I didn't say that other word, because I'm a creative person. The swill that they're forcing you to eat, that you're forced to eat, you know, it's not healthy like food was in the past. And all the artificial stuff, the GMOs, what are they called? You know, the stuff that the GMOs put in the food. The synth food that we've got going, that we're consuming today. We probably have it worse today than the average dude probably has it worse today than he did in 1974. but he can distract himself more easily because he's got, bright flashing things to get mesmerized by. And to assist with his onanism. All right.